$400 million capex, around $1,000 all-in sustaining, and a 200,000 ounce profile for 14 years. So a really tremendous, what we call a Tier 1B size project.
Hello and welcome to the Assay TV. Today I'm here at 121 Mining Investment Dubai, and I'm here with Brett Richards, CEO and Executive Director of Pasofino Gold. So Brett, thanks so much for joining us.
Amy, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to be able to catch up. Do you want to give us just a quick introduction to Pasofino?
Sure. Pasofino Gold owns 100% of the Dugbe Gold Project in Liberia. We have just under 4 million ounces of total resource inventory of gold. And we have a full feasibility study done on the project, which was done in 2022. Has stellar economics, although we only used a $1,600 gold price then. And obviously the gold price environment's a lot different. Just the high level numbers of it, $400 million capex, around $1,000 all in sustaining, and a 200,000 ounce profile for 14 years. So a really tremendous, what we call a Tier 1B size project.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, you've had substantial progress with the Dugbe project over the past couple of years. Do you want to highlight, you know, some of the recent work that's been done there and any kind of key milestones that you've achieved recently?
Yeah, this year was a bit transitional for the company. It sat, I wouldn't say idle, but there was very little work that had gone on to update the feasibility study in the previous years. I got involved in around this time last year. And subsequently, we've raised about $22 million so far this year, Canadian. And we put the majority of that into the ground to look at updating the 2022 feasibility study. And that's going to include around 10,000 meters of drilling, a substantial amount of metallurgical test work, because we see in this gold price environment, we want to optimize the project as much as possible, from CapEx, OpEx, looking at options for power generation, but also on recoveries. You know, we use 83% in the feasibility study. We think we can get that closer to 90. And so and also on just the gold price environment, you know, we're probably going to use a $2,250 gold price, which is around $600 an ounce higher than we used in 2022. And again, we're expecting to be done around May or June of this coming year. Of which we'll have a new NI 43-101, and we'll make our application for a Class A mining license in Liberia.
Okay, excellent. And so do you want to talk about, you know, is there kind of future planned exploration work, or, you know, update us on what's been done already there?
Yeah, so there's about 180,000 meters that have been drilled on the project, and we've only drilled about 11% of our total land package. We have 1,400 square kilometers. It's a substantial land package. And the access to infrastructure, we're about 76 kilometers from Port of Greenville. And our CapEx includes updating that port. It also includes, updating the road and the I'll say logistics infrastructure from the port to our mine site. But once we get there, this can be a mine that can be a generational mine. We can get drilling outside of our existing deposits, look for satellite deposits to bring into the mine plan later on. And I think over the next 8 months, we're just going to be focusing on taking the existing 5 million ton a year project and optimizing it as much as possible. And then early next year, we'll get into project financing. We'll probably be looking at $300 million of syndicated debt, and $150 million balance between equity and possibly some other off-balance sheet stuff.
Okay, excellent. And so looking into kind of the first quarter of 2026, you did mention the project financing that you're going to be looking towards. Is there other permitting or any other kind of plans that you need to set in motion?
Yeah, there is. So we've been working on our ESIA, which is the Environmental Social Impact Assessment, and our what we call our RAP, or Settlement Action Plan. We will have those finalized in the next few weeks. We've had dialogue back and forth with EPA, so no surprises. We've had their comments and factored them into our report. We'll look for our permitting kind of in Q1 of next year, and then we will get our tech report done and look for file our Class A mining license application and later on in Q2. But there are a lot of catalysts that are going to come out. We will put the drill results out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put the results out from met test work. We're anticipating everything to have a positive impact on the project, as well as some of the standard things. Just simply to look at the gold price. That's certainly one aspect that has performed quite
Mm-hmm.
well. But when the feasibility study was done, steel prices were 40% higher than they are today.
Yeah.
So when we update it, we expect some pluses and minuses. There will be some natural inflationary stuff that gets added to the capex and opex, but we think there's going to be some positives to the project costs as well.
Absolutely. I mean, how do the current gold prices really? How do you find they impact your project and development and kind of the potential?
Yeah, I think we're in an unprecedented time.
Mm-hmm.
You and I talked about this earlier. We've been waiting for this market for the last 10 or 12 years, and now here it is. But we still see this uncoupled valuation from junior gold equities to the actual gold price movement over the last 8 months, 12 months, 16 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think there's still this kind of decoupled kind of valuation. But when we use a higher gold price in our project, it goes right to the top line, which is the revenue. And oil was $120 a barrel when we did our feasibility study. Today it's 58.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's one of the pluses that we'll see in our operating expense. So I think the gold price run has it's going to have such a tremendous impact on both our NPV, but also our free cash flow when we get into free cash flow. This is a substantial project that today has the potential to do $450 million of free cash flow a year.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you did talk a little bit about kind of the potential for project financing in early 2026, but are you currently, looking for more financing? And with those financings that have happened in 2025, how are you allocating?
So yeah, we have about 10 million of cash in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough money, I think, to get us into kind of Q1, Q2 of next year. We probably, as junior mining companies do, we'll probably raise a little bit of money during the project financing phase. That we expect that to take kind of 4 or 5 months to put all together. So we'll probably go back to the market for a small amount of money, but we're talking about $300 million of syndicated debt. That's going to take a few months. There's due diligence required. There's term sheets, and there's lots of negotiations that go back and on with many of the banks or lenders. And then there's the other aspects of it, the equity component, which probably needs to be locked down first,
Mm-hmm.
and then also kind of some off-balance sheet stuff that will probably need to come in before the debt. So yeah, there's going to be lots of activities. There's going to be lots of news flow, but in this market is very amenable to lending, whereas
Absolutely.
12, 24 months ago, pretty difficult market. And 2021, 2022, 2023 were all very difficult years to raise equity capital for juniors, but project financing was equally as difficult.
It does seem that kind of the market is back now. From just judging by the past couple of weeks and the last few events that we've been running, has been a change in atmosphere.
And I think that's the point, because I was at your last event and here today in Dubai. I think what we saw a couple of weeks ago in London was kind of overabundance of very, very active and interested equity investors. Mm-hmm. There was a lot more interest than previous shows and years, and these are people who are out buying your stock that day or next day, and we haven't seen that for a long time.
Absolutely.
Here in Dubai, I'm meeting with a lot of potential project lenders, so project financing people, as well as equity investors. And again, the turnout has been tremendous. I think everybody here has full schedules, mm-hmm. and with very, very high quality investors. So I think it's a testament to the work that you guys do, but I think it's also a testament to where we are in the market.
100%. Well, we appreciate it. And so, looking forward, what should we be on the lookout for? Kind of, do you want to highlight kind of the key plans for 2026?
Yeah, I think we should be on the lookout for the next stages of our advancement, not so much development, but we want to be in construction on September 1st of next year. And there's a lot of things that have to be aligned and go on for us to be able to do that. And project financing is certainly going to be one of that. Permitting and licensing is going to be one of that. But we are operating in probably, and as you know, I've worked and lived in kind of 8 African countries. I would say Liberia is probably one of my top country in Africa as far as jurisdiction goes. And quite frankly, the government is as excited about getting this project into production as we are. This is a strategic asset for them, and they have been so supportive and so collaborative in helping us get to where we need to be. Now, that doesn't mean that there's corners being cut, or it just simply doesn't mean that. They've held our feet to the fire when it comes to the diligence of the feasibility study. But they have been extremely supportive of the mines department, and you can't speak enough about it. So, lots of activity between now and September. But I look forward to those headline news reels that are going to come out showing the advancement of it.
Absolutely, and it definitely sounds like a promising environment where everything seems to be lining up quite well right now.
And the market,
Yes.
let's face it, the gold price environment is really the big wind in all of our sales today.
Excellent. Well, we'll definitely be catching up over the next few months just to see how you're progressing. But I want to thank you for joining us here on the Assay.
Thanks, Amy.